Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. If you haven't noticed, it's snowing quite a bit, actually. Um, so, there's a cold front moving through that is associated with this pretty substantial upper level trough at the 500 millibar level here, and that is bringing a little bit more snow than we previously anticipated. We first anticipated that this was going to be mostly a lake effect event, but it turns out that the upper level system and the front is providing enough lift for some more broad precipitation. We were initially looking at what was supposed to be around a trace of snow here for the Lansing area, and now we're actually looking at perhaps getting a couple inches from this system. It's already starting to accumulate out there. And while, 2 or so inches is, nothing major, that's still more than we anticipated. And it's certainly enough to have some travel impacts, that's for sure. But enough about the current situation. Let's look at the future. That's what we're here for, after all, is to try to look at the future. And things should calm down briefly as the system moves out of the area. Of course, it's going to take its time, but by tomorrow morning, the center of this low pressure system should be closer to the Ohio, Pennsylvania, Canada border area. And then by the time we get to tomorrow evening, it should be off and over by New York. And then as we head into Friday morning, not our problem anymore. At least that one isn't. Because as we head into tomorrow evening, we actually have a shortwave ridge pattern along here, where along this axis that my mouse is going up and down. But right behind it, we actually have a shortwave trough. So this ridge is probably going to temporarily bring some calmer weather, also some colder weather, but we're going to temporarily see a calm period as this ridge moves into and over the area, but it is going to be followed immediately by some more disturbed weather as as this trough behind it also moves into our area. Especially here, we have the height lines, the isohypses here, really spreading out over our area, and the tip of the jet that is rounding this trough is starting to poke its way towards us too, and so we're more than likely going to see precipitation from this system. And if I were to wager, I would guess it's probably going to be wintry precipitation, given the how cold it is supposed to be. But don't just take my word for it. Let's take a look at those temperatures. Well, ho there, but before we go down to the surface and take a look at those temperatures, let's take a look at our 850 millibar chart, just to see if there's anything else that sticks out as we get it closer to the surface. Of course, we still see that low pressure system getting out of our way. We definitely still see that shortwave ridge that's going to be moving over tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. And then sure enough, we've got that trough behind it. And that does, in fact, continue to look like it will be impacting our area. So now we can go down and take a look at our temperature. We will zoom in a minute, but first we'll get a more zoomed out broad view so that we can also get an idea of low pressure systems, which we definitely still have this one way off to our northeast. And again, it does have that cold front draped down across it. The front has already passed over the area, but this is one of those fronts where it has the precipitation behind it. And so that is where our snow is coming from. And of course, there is cold air behind the cold front, And it is going to get cold. Quite cold. Especially tomorrow morning. It looks like tomorrow morning is going to be the coldest period. And we do see the next low pressure system building off to our northwest as we head into tomorrow evening. And as that moves into our area, we are still very much below freezing here. So that does confirm that any precipitation we get from this system is going to be in frozen precipitation, more than likely in terms of snow. Now let's zoom in and actually take a look at what exactly our highs and lows might be looking like. For today, it's just going to get colder through the day. We've already had our high today, which was probably around 30 really early this morning. And by really early this morning, I mean like 1 a.m. Right now, our temperatures are looking to be kind of in the low 20s, low to mid 20s, and they're just going to drop. By the time we reach around 7 p.m., we're already looking to be in the lower teens. And then as we head into tomorrow morning, we look to drop into the single digits. And this is real temperature. This is not wind chill. This is before we are taking wind into account. Excuse me, I got some hiccups. As we head through the day tomorrow, though, it looks like things will warm up just a little bit into the probably mid-teens, mid to upper teens. But it's still going to be quite cold. And it looks like the temperature's kind of stabilize there, hang out around there through most of tomorrow night, and then start to warm up a bit more as we head into Friday morning, maybe into the low 20s. Now, of course, we'll have to see how much more things warm up through Friday. They might get into the upper 20s, but it looks like it is still going to be below freezing, even as some of this warmer air starts to make its way up. If it's possible to get close to freezing, but there will be more cold air behind this system. So, yeah. With those temperatures in mind, we might as well take a look at our wind. So this is the hourly maximum wind averaged across all the models. So this is going to be on the high end of what to expect in terms of sustained winds. For today and tonight, it looks like we should expect winds of around 15 to 20 miles per hour sustained, then calm down overnight and into tomorrow morning, maybe 10 miles per hour sustained, and be really calm into tomorrow night, but then they start to build back into the area a little bit as we head into Friday morning. Still around 10 to 15 miles per hour, but it's not really the sustained wind we're going to have to be worrying about. It looks like it's going to be quite gusty. Now let's take a look at our average wind gusts, averaged across all the models. And it looks like today and into tonight, we could see wind gusts of around 25 to 30 miles per hour as we head into tomorrow. Overnight and tomorrow morning, we're still looking at gusts of around 25 to 30 miles per hour. And of course, couple that with the single-digit temperatures, we're probably going to have wind chills of around 0 or even slightly below 0, maybe around -3, -4, or perhaps even -5. Then as we head into tomorrow afternoon, the wind really calms down, and even for gusts, we're only looking at around 10 to 15 miles per hour, especially as we head into the evening. But as we head into the overnight, into the morning, the wind gusts will make their way back into the area, again being around 20, 25, maybe even up to 30 miles per hour. Now looking at our precipitation, this is what it's showing for now, and I think the model may have jumped the gun just a little bit here with its timing, because this band of snow is still up closer towards our area, and again, it is decidedly snowing, pretty good. And that will probably continue for at least a couple more hours before it then does transition to mainly lake effect. And for the most part, the lake effect should stay out of our area, but it will certainly affect the coastal areas pretty significantly if you plan to travel, or if you know anyone over those areas. I know there are some winter weather advisories along the Lake Michigan coast, and even a winter storm warning down closer to the Indiana border. That lake effect is expected to continue through the evening and into the overnight and even into tomorrow. And it only starts to really fade as we head into tomorrow afternoon. But you can also see that we do have some snow off in the Wisconsin area. That is really, this is a pretty broad area of snow just in this area that as we head into tomorrow night and Friday morning does start to make its way down towards our area and starting to move across the lake here. And of course, that is precipitation that is likely associated with that next low pressure system that will be moving down towards our area. In fact, as I was making this video, a special weather statement was issued for our area regarding snow showers impacting the area over the next few hours. Widespread snow showers are occurring, and they will move out over the next few hours. The heaviest snow showers will lead to occasional visibilities at or below 1/2 mile, occasional gusts of 30 to 35 miles per hour, and lead to quick accumulations on the road. So again, if you're driving this afternoon, use caution. It definitely does not look like fun conditions to be driving in. So again, there's just an official statement. There's just kind of confirming what I was mentioning for our current conditions. Now let's take a look at our expected snowfall. Now this does count some of the snow that has already fallen and the snow that is expected to fall for the rest of the day today, as well as snow that is expected to fall with that system coming through on Friday. So this is not just from today and it's not just from Friday. It is a little bit of both. So these values are going to be spread out. Our expected is 2 to 4 inches. Again, 1 to 2 of that may be today and the rest comes Friday. Or maybe the other way around. That is, still to be seen. But just from today, this morning, to Saturday morning, we are looking at, through that whole period, 2 to 4 inches of snow. The low end amount, have about a 90% chance of seeing this amount of snow or more, is 1 inch. The high end amount, where we only have about 10% chance of getting this amount of snow or more, is 4 inches, with a little bit of that 5 starting to stick its nose, or actually that's even the boundary between 6 there, starting to stick its nose towards our area there. And my cat is screaming and demanding attention. So here he is. He clearly wants to be on camera, so here he is. Now I gotta find the... I'd like to bring this up one more time, just because I noticed something about the lake effect, or the lakeside here. Well, of course, we knew they were going to get more from the lake effect, but it also seems like it is going to quite vary significantly, just based on where exactly those heavier snow bands may go, and just how long that lake effect lasts. So even along the lakeshore here, they may only get 4 or 5 inches, but they could get as much as 12 or 15. So there's a lot of variability with some of the lake effects. So, there could be some pretty thick gradients too, just again, where those thicker bands end up going. You could live right along the coast and get, 4 inches and then drive 5 miles to the east and someone has 12. So there could be some pretty tight gradients in there. All right, now with the main stories out of the way, and again, that gradient really mainly applies to the coastal areas. We are, in Lansing, are definitely not looking at a possibility for a foot of snow, so don't worry about that here. But anyway, with the main stuff out of the way, let's take a look at our cloud cover. Never hurts to take a look at a cloud cover unless you like sun and it doesn't show any sun. But the good news for us, if you like sun, is that it seems like after our precipitation today and clouds overnight, as we head into tomorrow morning, things will clear up like significantly. In fact, if the model is correct here, at some point in the afternoon tomorrow, should be near perfectly clear. Of course, though, as we head into tomorrow evening, clouds will start to build back into the area. Maybe you still see a little bit of blue skies at that time, or I guess in this case it would be dark. So maybe you see a little bit of moonlight shining through. But as we head into the overnight and into Friday morning, it's just cloudy again. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you tomorrow.